Hi everybody. I can't believe we are already at the end of 2022. And of course in various regions feel the severity of the trials they have to face regarding the natural disasters that befell in several areas. For this reason, we will review the 7 worst natural disasters that occurred in 2022 that were recorded on camera. Pakistan flash floods. Pakistan is at high risk from climate change and natural disasters. Events such as earthquakes, typhoons, flooding and drought have haunted the country for years, and regularly swept away the foundations on which the lives of hundreds of thousands of families were built. Internal and external political issues have also left their mark on the country, leading to chronic instability. Anti-terror operations along the Afghan border have led to years of population displacement, and Pakistan is now home to over 2.5 million displaced people, mostly from crisis-ridden Afghanistan. Long-lasting and heavy monsoon rains since June have claimed more than 1,700 lives in large parts of Pakistan to date, as of November 2022. Landslides and flash floods swept away houses, roads, and bridges. In many villages, people were cut off from all help. According to the Pakistani government, which has declared a state of emergency, more than 33 million people have been affected by the floods. Millions of people had to leave their homes and are now homeless or living in emergency shelters. They have hardly any access to clean drinking water. Their crops have been destroyed, food is scarce, hunger is looming. The situation remains tense weeks after the disaster, with large parts of southern Pakistan still underwater. Standing water is already a breeding ground for infectious diseases. Diarrhea, typhoid, cholera, and malaria are spreading and endangering even more lives. The disaster after the disaster is looming. Hurricane Ian. Hurricane Ian, one of the strongest and costliest hurricanes in U.S. history, hit Florida on the 28th of September 2022 and made its second U.S. landfall 2 days later in South Carolina. The death toll passed 110 and is expected to keep rising, whilst 700,000 homes and businesses remained without power 4 days later in Florida alone. The residents of Florida and the Carolinas are facing a recovery that is expected to cost billions of dollars. The largest ever search and rescue effort was launched by the federal emergency management officials. President Joe Biden visited the storm-affected areas in Florida and stressed the need for a united state and federal effort for the recovery. As Ian traveled north over the Gulf of Mexico, the storm system continued to strengthen, gaining Category 4A or major hurricane status. Ian made landfall near Cape Coral on Florida's Gulf Coast on the 28th of September. Once Ian made landfall, its fuel supply of warm, moist air from below was removed, and the system rapidly diminished in strength as it continued to travel northeast across the Sunshine State. By the 29th of September, Ian was downgraded to a tropical storm as it moved offshore into the western Atlantic. Later that same day, Ian strengthened over the Atlantic Ocean, becoming a Category 1 hurricane as it made a second landfall near Georgetown, South Carolina on the 30th of September. Indonesia's Cianjur earthquake. An earthquake in Cianjur on Monday, November 21, 2022, with a magnitude of 5.6 had a damaging impact, resulting in hundreds of deaths and thousands of buildings being destroyed. Cianjur is one of the areas in West Java that was hit by a disaster this year, and adds to the long list of disasters that will occur in West Java in 2022. Phase 1 report on the results of an earthquake field inspection in Cianjur Regency, West Java Province, conducted by the PVMBG Emergency Response Team, Geology Agency as follows. The epicenter of the earthquake was at coordinates 6.8 for south latitude, 107.05 and a depth of 11 kilometers with a magnitude of 5.6. As of November 28, 2022, at 7 o'clock local time, the BMKG has recorded 297 aftershocks with the largest magnitude of M4.2 and the smallest M1.0. The Geological Agency has mapped the location and level of damage to buildings and locations of ground movements, which have been collected both through surveys and information from the mass media and residents. The most severe damage occurred in areas composed by breccia deposits and Mount Gede lava. Morphologically, the areas that were damaged were generally areas with undulating hill morphology. In Cugenang district, the intensity reached 7 to 8 mmi, modified Mercalli intensity, marked by massive damage to buildings, especially in Gasol and Serampad villages. Cugenang, apart from Cugenang subdistrict, quite severe damage with an intensity of up to 7 mmi also occurred in Chanju, Werengkandang, and Gekbrong subdistricts. In Kardudampit village, Rangkagung village, Chilaku district, a unique phenomenon occurred. Many 2 to 3 story buildings suffered heavy damage and even one minimarket building completely collapsed. Flash floods Mecca, Saudi Arabia. Flash floods hit Saudi Arabia's city of Mecca on Friday morning following a night of torrential rain, damaging vehicles and properties in the city. Video footage of the flash floods shows vehicles being swept away by torrents of water, while several main roads were closed off. Mecca endured torrential rain through Thursday night and into Friday morning. The National Center of Meteorology issued a weather warning in the Mecca province on Friday, as the rain continued to fall at moderate to critical levels in the Ronia, Taif, Adham and Maysan areas. Video footage from the Great Mosque of Mecca showed rain pouring on pilgrims and worshippers in the mosque's courtyard. King Abdulaziz Airport in Jeddah asked that travelers call to confirm the status of their flights before heading to the airport, as some flights were expected to be cancelled due to the conditions. The Meteorology Center also warned about flooding and thunderstorms accompanied by heavy rains in the Jeddah Governorate, north of Mecca. In November, 2 people died in floods that swept across the coastal city of Jeddah due to record rain levels. Hurricane Nicole. Severe beach erosion from 2 late-season hurricanes has helped uncover what appears to be a wooden ship dating from the 1800s, which had been buried under the sand on Florida's east coast for up to 2 centuries, impervious to cars that drove daily on the beach or sand castles built by generations of tourists. Beachgoers and lifeguards discovered the wooden structure, between 80 feet to 100 feet, 24 meters to 30.5 meters, poking out of the sand over Thanksgiving weekend in front of homes, which collapsed into rubble on Daytona Beach shores last month from Hurricane Nicole. Whenever you find a shipwreck on the beach, it's really an amazing occurrence. There's this mystery, you know. It's not there one day, and it's there the next day, so it really captivates the imagination, said maritime archaeologist Chuck Mader, who on Tuesday led an archaeological team from St. Augustine, Florida, to examine the beach find. Hurricane Ian made landfall in late September on Florida's southwest coast and exited into the Atlantic Ocean over central Florida. Nicole devastated much of Volusia County's coastline in early November. Leaving behind homes collapsed into the ocean after they had been made vulnerable to erosion from Ian. It's a rare experience, but it's not unique, and it seems with climate change and more intense hurricane seasons, it's happening more frequently, Mader said of the discovery. The archaeological team on Monday and Tuesday removed sand and made a shallow trench around the structure's wooden timbers, took measurements and made sketches in an effort to solve the 200-year mystery. The digging team members went from using shovels to trowels and then their hands as more of the frame was exposed, so as not to damage any of the wood. Oman flash flooding. Oman has been hammered by heavy rain in the past few days, as winter season gets underway. The capital Muscat was hit the hardest, resulting in flooded homes and streets. 2 people died due to the extreme weather conditions. 1 man was killed in the early hours of Tuesday when his vehicle overturned in Muscat's Marbella area. Another man died after his car crashed into a wall of a residential building in the city, according to Oman television. Muscat resident Faisal al-Lamki said his home was flooded. We were upstairs sleeping, not aware of the water seeping under the kitchen door during the night. We only realized the kitchen was flooded when we came down for breakfast. Several media outlets told people, including schoolchildren and university students, to stay indoors. The Royal Oman Police helped to monitor the roads and ensure a steady flow of traffic. The Sultanate's meteorological department said rain is expected until Thursday morning. The traffic department said motorists should exercise caution and refrain from crossing the valleys and areas prone to flooding. The rain will continue on and off until Thursday in Muscat and most parts of Oman until the weekend, said Mansour, a weather forecaster at the Civil Aviation Authority's Department of Meteorology. Blizzard in Buffalo. Western New York State has recorded 28 weather-related deaths. This is a war with Mother Nature, and she has been hitting us with everything she has since Thursday, State Governor Kathy Hochul said. Blizzard conditions stretching from Canada to the Mexican border have now killed at least 56 people in total. The region around Buffalo has been worst affected, with 27 deaths reported there. Governor Hochul, a native of Buffalo, said, "It is like going to a war zone. And the vehicles along the sides of the roads are shocking." She said residents were facing a life-threatening situation, as many emergency vehicles were unable to reach worst-hit areas or got stuck in snow themselves. The bomb cyclone, winter storm which occurs when atmospheric pressure plummets, causing heavy snow and winds, has disrupted travel across the U.S. Forecasters say it will ease off in the next few days, but the advice remains to avoid traveling unless essential. Over the weekend, an estimated 250,000 homes and businesses experienced blackouts, although power has been steadily restored. Storm-related deaths were also reported in Vermont, Ohio, Missouri, Wisconsin, Kansas, and Colorado. South Florida's temperatures dropped so low that iguanas froze and fell from trees.